Sometimes you just gotta watch the weird stuff. So, Japan, Land of the Rising Sun. I watched this movie last year called Matango, Matango, directed by Ishiro Honda. After a yacht is damaged in a storm and stranded on a deserted island, the passengers, a psychologist, his girlfriend, a wealthy businessman, a famous singer, a writer, a sailor, and his skipper take refuge in a fungus-covered boat. While using the mushrooms for sustenance, they find the ship's journal describing the mushrooms to be poisonous. However, some members of the shipwrecked party continue to ingest the mysterious fungi, transforming them into hideous fungal monsters. One of the strangest and most horrific Toho productions to date. Yes, this 1963 movie got a 2005 DVD release. It was also known as Attack of the Mushroom People. Now, before I get into what's the usual review, thematically, it has to deal with how, there was the American influence going on in Japan. This is post-war occupancy. One of it has to deal with all seven of them were kind of Tokyo-ish style jobs, and it brings up one of them. It's like, hey, you live in Tokyo, you have all this convenience and access, but compared to someone who lives like that in the rice paddies where they have to work, you haven't really worked that hard in your life. So yeah, if we're going to survive, you need to do this. Ishiro Honda in commentary said, we want to show the social background type of thing of people sending their children off to foreign universities and how they get accustomed to a different lifestyle and things like that. So it has to do with different backgrounds and kind of just having a little intergenerational clash for the time of 1963 Japan. So it's interesting. It's actually a good way of just dealing with a rather mature subject matter when at the same time they were making Godzilla films. So say what you will about that. Oh boy, this one. How to describe Matango. The human characters make this interesting. The novelist, these people are slowly losing their sanity because they're being shipwrecked on an island for months. There was a research vessel, a scouting vessel, that was looking for nuclear waste or something. And they somehow, these mushrooms mutated, and they eventually became... I said, don't eat the mushrooms. Have literally anything else but these things, according to the captain's log of just this derelict ship that you see right here. And, yeah. Thematically, it is very well done. The horror builds up. First the crew exploring the island after, of course, they get shipwrecked in a rather, I will have to admit, rather well choreographed scene of the mast breaking, the ship, them trying to get the sails wound up, and it really is just kind of pure chaos that's going on at that time. Wow. But then it's like you see these kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess Japanese version of Gibson girls, and these suburbanites, that's the word, and how they eventually clash they eventually get on the island. They have the thematic clash going on that Honda wanted to portray. They eventually find the derelict ship. It explores. It's abandoned. Everything's covered in fungi. No one knows what's going on. There's not even any mirrors on the ship for a very specific reason. It turns out the mushrooms cause them to mutate into giant mushroom people. That's what the explorers on the ship did. They just kind of live within the island, but it's almost seen as a tropical paradise to them, And just, you look at it, and you're like, yeah, all the characters stand out. The lead is longtime Toho stay Akira Fubo, who plays the main guy, who refuses to ingest the mushrooms and tries to stay with his friend, I guess. As you can see, everyone's standing slowly slipping, the yelling, the kind of fast-paced dialogue that the Japanese has. That takes a little bit getting used to, I will have to say that. But you can tell that the crew is slowly losing themselves, and towards the end, we get some rather great imagery of the non-LSD mushrooms of, like people slowly, you can see part of their skin starting to slowly mutate. Then we get like the reveal of what the mushroom people look like, the Matango people, and yeah, it's something to behold. Everything is done just right. But there's one major flaw that prevents this movie. It is so slow. It is a slow burn. It takes 45 minutes in an hour and a half movie for things to get going. I have to say, I did get bored the first time I watched it last year. This is before I started doing the reviews here on YouTube. And anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour for the things to start escalating and elevating. I have to detract points for that. That is the one. I normally wouldn't care, but it is such a slog to get through. Yes, there are interesting set pieces. Yes, the ship is great to see. The island is great to see. Everything goes well, but it's so slow. And such a... Yes, it is a good boil. But the slow burn, the slow boil, though, I know I'm harping on, but I can't stress it enough. It takes a while for it to get going. And I did get bored. I have to say that. As like the one major detractor from this being a great film. And sadly, it's not as well remembered by people. I think it's Guillermo del Toro's one of his personal favorite movies, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the actors take it seriously. The ship was kind of at a slope, so there was a little bit of motion sickness. So yeah, say what you will about that. Towards the end, eventually we see the mutation where the Sakada's face is Kira Kubo's got some makeup on. You know, it's like you could tell. It's like I was on this ship for at least 3 days. I don't know who saved me, but then when he looks down at Tokyo and sees like these people are becoming inhumane, they're becoming accustomed to one way of living. It's like I would have been happier back on the island when he was there with the rather shy other woman who's not the who wasn't the singer. I think she was a university clerk. So yeah. Whew, this movie is truly overall good. There's some singing that one of the singers do, and you know, it's like I like that, but it just takes a while. So if you want good music, you want good atmosphere, you want to see some truly great reveals of when everything simmers and it looks great, it's great. But you have to keep in mind, it is so slow. So if you want that, I do recommend that you watch Matango.